Guys hear me? I guess it's good. Okay, so we are going to start. Good afternoon, everyone, distinguished guests and passionate advocates for a sustainable future. Welcome to this pivotal session where we are going to delve into the crucial role of youth and children in addressing climate change actions. I am Mahnoor Rashid from Pakistan, and it's truly an honor to guide you through this enlightening discussion. So today we have the privilege of hearing from our esteemed speakers who bring unique perspectives to the intersection of youth, children's rights, climate change, and health. Without further ado, I would like to mention that this session is in collaboration with Youngo's Working Group Health and ACE. So let's embark on this insightful journey. First of all, we have a keynote speech by Hamdan Bashir, who is a 15-year-old aspiring climate activist. And as a year 11 student, he took up leadership positions like student council, and he likes to speak and debate and participate in MUNs. So Hamdan, please go.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Hamdan Bashir, and today I'm going to be talking about child's rights and climate change. At first glance, climate change and child's rights have nothing to do with each other, but they are intrinsically linked because climate change and children's rights are two sides of the same coin, the two sides of our future. Climate change is a dark future, but with children's rights, we can build a better, brighter future. Now, as a child, when you have the right to education, to all the facilities you need to grow, the love you deserve, you have a chance to become someone who could invent or discover something that could change the world, something that could even stop climate change. And this means that a child who is given rights is in essence a hero, a savior. But if a child is not given their rights, if the child is not given education, if they're not given facilities, there are chances they might go down a darker path, they might become a troubled adult, and this could lead to bigger problems like riots and issues that could inevitably lead to a worse climate due to emissions. And we can see what happens when a child is not given a proper education. In developing countries, we can see that the children do not know how to respond to droughts and floods and all these issues because, well, they weren't taught about it. They weren't educated. They didn't get the right that they deserved. And most of all, if an adolescent is given their rights, they get the right of a beautiful planet, a healthy life, and most of all, a bright, hopeful future. In essence, a child who is given their rights could prevent climate change. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Hamdan, for giving such important insights into the issue and how important it is to include children when talking about climate change and in decision making. So now we are going to hear from our distinguished speakers. Each will provide a unique lens on this critical topic. So let me first introduce you to our guests. We have Mr. Ahmed Auda from Palestine. He is an internal medical doctor based in Egypt. Ahmed is one of the global coordination team of the major group Children and Youth on Sustainable Consumption and Production Youth Platform. He's also one of the NDC's youth reviewer at UNFPA. He is also the co-contact point of the ACE working group at Youngo and the co-contact point of Youngo to the Paris Committee of Capacity Building of the UN Climate Change Secretariat. And he has also organized the Alcoy Egypt and Arcoy MENA. We also have Omnia Enfer, who is a young Moroccan medical student and environmentalist. She is the regional focal point of the UNEA 6th presidency to the Children and Youth Major Group to UNEP. She's also the contact point of Youngo Health that she represents at the Health Steering Committee of COP28 presidency. And she is a UNICEF Morocco Climate Action Champion. We also have Mara Galan, who is a young Romanian climate activist and policy consultant with a passion for climate justice. She works in Youngo, where she advances the integration of human rights, intergenerational justice in policy and discourse, and she's also a global youth ambassador for Global Alliance of Universities for Climate Change. She has over 13 years of volunteer experience and has produced award-winning work on climate finance and conducted research in climate assemblies. So thank you for coming here. I will start the question and answer session with Omnia. Omnia, can you please tell us that how can partnerships between youth-led organizations and established institutions enhance the impact of initiatives focused on integrating children's rights into climate and health advocacy?
Well, thank you so much, Manu, for the question. Greetings, everyone. Assalamu alaikum. I'm Omni Anfer. I'm a medical student and a UNICEF Climate Action Champion, as well as the co-contact point of the Health Working Group of Youngo. So, youth in the climate and health advocacy are very important. And that comes from our efforts as youth, either as a frontline health workers in the future, or in youth that are working in this arena in general, to push the interests of the safeguarding of the future of our planet. And that comes from my work as the co-contact point of the Health Working Group of Youngo, where we pushed to join the Health Steering Committee of the COP28 presidency to ensure that children and youth voice are well represented and are made in the Climate and Health Declaration. And that was one of our little milestones, that we were able to have wordings on the importance of addressing youth and women and indigenous people's role in the climate and health arena, but also our integration in the ministerial, where we had my co-contact point delivering the Youngo statements on the first ever health day. And we had several other works with UNICEF, Safeguard the Children, and many other stakeholders. So this intergenerational exchange between us, the youth, and other stakeholders, IGOs, UN organizations, and the governments is very essential to ensure that the work that we do is heard and is well taken care of and addressed in the national, regional, and global agendas. It's very important also, since we are in the eve of the global stocktake, to address that many NDCs, national determined contributions, are not integrating the children's based rights in their NDCs. So this is one of the key demands that we are trying to push for. We have been organizing an ELCO in Morocco in partnership with UNICEF, and we had a consultation on how we can be pushing Morocco to have NDCs, children rights-based, approved, and we have been one of the only ALCOs that have mobilized children to come to the conference as part of the UNICEF Climate Champions initiative. And it's very also important to mention the many initiatives that also UNICEF is taking, such as the Healthy Planet, Healthy Children, which aims to ensure that the earth that we are living in is livable in the next generations to come, that the air that we are breathing is safe and sane, but also the environment, the stresses factors that we are interred with are not that harmful for the children, and it's very saddening talking about air pollution, for example, which is causing children many health effects even before they are born, such as autism, such as asthma, etc. So this importance of partnership is what's going to help us leverage our efforts. So here at COP, it's the best way to connect, to share, to network, but also to come up with concrete solutions, tangible efforts, and definitely, since we are talking about climate and health financing, so loss and damage, for example, should address the segments where health is taken care of. Well, youth and children's health, women, indigenous people are addressed for developing and global south countries. So I think those are my main messages. And of course, once we are going to come back to our countries, no more left for this COP28, we should take concrete action. We should just leverage what we have learned, the discussions we did, the side events that we are holding, on how we can concretely participate on having very tangible solutions, of course.
Thank you so much, Omnia. That is absolutely amazing insights from you. Thank you for also mentioning the importance of, including women and indigenous people when talking about these perspectives. Ahmed, since you are a doctor and also the contact point for ACE, I would like you to give your remarks on the topic before we move on to the question.
Hi. So, hello everyone. My name is Ahmed Oda, as you know, and I am a medical doctor. Also, I am the contact point of ACE. Let me share my experience through the 1 year of being an ACE contact point, which is one of the most important and most powerful working groups in Yangon. First of all, once I get this position, I got huge responsibility on my shoulder that the education is number one, because ACE is having 6 elements and education is one of them, which is so important. I just realized that we need more education programs and more education curriculums in the schools and into the universities. Whatever the major is, we need awareness about the climate change, about the health, and how they are intercross. We need to increase the awareness, educating the children about how they are affected by the climate change. Believe me, like the children's, they are affected and they are complaining about the climate change, but they don't know that all these, it's coming like from something, it's called the climate change. So we need to work on that. We need the Ministry of Education to take the responsibility in their countries to help them. We need the governments to collaborating with the UN agencies such as the UNESCO, such as the United Nations Staff System College, the UNFCCC Learn. All these people, they having amazing experts, so they can also helping the government to provide insights, data, and all that stuff. Also, from the education programs, it should be, first of all, provide the structured framework for the youth to grasp the complex of the dynamics of the climate change and its profound impacts on the children's health and well-being. Through these courses and the workshop, it should be interactive learning. I don't want that traditional learning that teachers like standing with the whiteboard and explaining about the climate change. No, I need something to make the children interactive with the teacher. I need them to be opening their minds. I don't want that traditional school or even that traditional courses. No, I want something to be making them active, making them to think more about, because these actual children, they can find the solutions that we actually right now, we cannot find it. They can actually bring ideas to us how we can mitigate, how we can adaptate. And even if we, like, even of the negotiators, they don't have these ideas yet. So the children's voices, it's so important to be included. Thank you. Over to you.
Thank you so much, Ahmed. Absolutely, we need to consider the voices of children because they are the ones that are going to, bear the brunt of the consequences of the decisions that are made today by the leaders. And yes, focusing upon the health, specifically mental health of children, is really important considering the kind of anxiety and the stress that climate change discourse brings with it. So moving on to Mara. Mara, please do let us know what your thoughts on today's topic, and what do you think, why is it so important to talk about it?
So I'd like to, first of all, say hello. Good evening, everyone. Thanks for being here. I'm Mara Gilan. I'm part of Yango, mainly within the policy team and within the human rights working group. And I want to talk to you about what we do. Within the human rights working group, we are advocating for the integration of intergenerational climate justice, of course, within the UNFCCC space and beyond. We're at crossroads, to say so, because we're trying to, through our work, lead to the integration of climate-related issues within the human rights space and of human rights issues and discourse within the climate negotiation space. So we are making submissions and interventions both within the UNFCCC and also attending consultations with the UNHCR, for example. One of our main ways to advocate for all of these demands is through the Global Youth Statement. And in case you don't know already, the Global Youth Statement is our main policy output and also a very strong advocacy tool, both for Yango members and for anyone who's interested in children and youth's demands, who are very strong and pertinent demands. I, first of all, invite you to consult this document. It is available online. It's been launched a month ago in its condensed version, and at COI a couple of weeks already ago in its full version. And what is the Global Youth Statement? It is the collection of the demands of children and youth from more than 160 countries, so quite a big project. Consolidating both qualitative inputs and quantitative ones. We partnered with UNICEF and collected more than 770,000 inputs. So again, quite a big project. And just to add to those numbers, in total, we have given, together with all the individuals, all the ALCOI organizers, all the ARCOI organizers here on the panel as well, the volunteers, and us in the policy team, more than 55,000 hours of voluntary work. That is unpaid work that children and youth are giving to crystallize their demands and to bring them forth in this space and beyond. And our demands, as I've said, are quite clear. They are synthesized, and we are delivering them in a variety of spaces. At the national level, through the ALCOI statements, and at the global level, through the Global Youth Statement. And I invite all of you to consult the document and also use it in your advocacy, because it's a powerful tool. We are referencing, for example, the previous decisions. We are using UN language. And on the other side, we also have a child-friendly version that children can use to develop a better understanding of what they should be calling for and what they are actually calling for. And on this note, I want to echo what Ahmed said. It is very important in order to mobilize to also provide the necessary capacity. When it comes to climate change, there is a lot of technical language. It's not the easiest space to engage in, but the realities that are negotiated actually right now are very concrete ones that, as the other panelists have mentioned, children and youth are facing every day. So, for example, one Yale study showed that any person that has been exposed to climate change, even those with very limited education, that lack literacy, for example, when told in one phrase what climate change is, 80% of them could name that is a lived experience that they are encountering every single day. So it's not that easy to let people know that what they are experiencing actually has a name and actually is negotiated in these spaces. And this is a work that we're carrying towards both children and youth. I have a lot to say, but I'm gonna leave it here and hand it back to you, Mahnur.
Thank you so much, Mara, for specifically talking about Yango and the Global Youth Statement, because it has been a long journey and a wonderful initiative, and the best part about it is the inclusivity and the scale at which the contributions were taken. Thank you for mentioning it, and I would like follow up with this, that I want to ask you that how is Yango exploring the climate, health and human rights nexus?
Very happy to take on that question. We're exploring the nexus through all of our activity. We know that there is no climate justice without human rights. There is no climate justice without health. And there are no human rights without the enjoyment of the right to a healthy environment. I don't know how much you know about Yango structure. We are a flat structure, and we are working on thematic and operational working groups, and some of the thematic working groups are health, human rights, migration, peace and security, and recently children's rights. So all of us together, we are working on these themes, and we are exploring the nexus through our activity. And first of all, we ensure that we collaborate between each other. And I'm going to come back to the Global Youth Statement, because indeed it is our main policy input. We are exploring this nexus within the Global Youth Statement. When you're going to read it, you're going to see that these issues are protruding through all of the sections. For example, in the children's rights section, you're going to read a demand on recognizing the vulnerability that children have, specifically on health, when faced with the climate change impacts. On migration, for example, we are recognizing the fact that children and youth are more vulnerable than other categories, because the impacts of climate change are something that relate not just to their current reality, their current experience, but also to the fulfillment of their potential. And as the other panelists have said, these are change makers. These are brilliant minds that need to develop in a healthy and safe environment in order to play their role in building the society, climate just society that we're all fighting for in this space. Aside from that, I want to recognize the importance of mental health. This is something that you, Mahnur, addressed, and that's also part of our demands. Please do consult the health demands of the GYS, the Global Youth Statement, that is, because we are demanding, first of all, resilient treatment and also adequate treatment. I think all of us in this room are very much exposed, not just to the realities of climate change, but to the
ideational dimension of it. We understand what needs to happen, we understand what is not happening, and that is taken a toll on everyone. It's not easy to navigate these spaces, and that's why we're demanding for robust mental health when it comes to as part of climate action. So yeah, I'm gonna leave it there. The nexus is everywhere within our activity, and I invite you to follow us and follow our work if you're interested in this topic.
Yeah, thank you so much, Mara. You're absolutely right, because for example, my context is Pakistan, and during the 2022 floods, I myself had seen the kind of impact a climate disaster has on children, with their, access to education and health taken away. So obviously, alongside talking about physical health, it is also important to mention mental health, and that too of children. So with that, I would come to Omnia. Omnia, what do you think? What are the strategies that can be employed to address the challenges faced by youth champions in promoting children's rights in the context of climate and health advocacy?
I think three main things are the most essential for integrating youth and children in the equation. Well, first, it's true empowerment of youth and young people and children in the local governance aspects. And the youth councils have a very important role, because decisions come from the local level to the parliament, to the government, and once the government takes the decision, it goes back to the global level. So that's the first thing, having more youth and children representation, because they are the ones who are most touched by the impact. They are the ones who feel, they are the ones that are most eligible to represent the category they are coming from. And since we are in the capacity building hub, then it's very important to strengthen the role of capacity building that it can have on climate action and the climate and health nexus advocacy, especially because the information is out there, but the language barrier is very important and it has to be addressed. I'm coming from Morocco, doing all the talks in English, but my peers are having, like, as a native language Arabic, or as our first foreign language, which is French. So this should be very well tackled and addressed, and also making the language very friendly. And it's very important to note that the Global Youth Statement this year had the children-friendly language, which makes the demands and the policy demands understandable for those people.
And also French and Arabic.
Exactly, and offering it with different languages. And one of the most important things that I have tackled on another side event is the importance of empowerment. And here we have, for example, this very young but inspirational children with us, and many others. He doesn't look much like a child; he's like a young adult. But we have had many other children in the Children Youth Pavilion, and the way that they have been there is that they had other siblings, they had someone from their families, they had a good mentor, and this is a very important point to capitalize on: the importance of empowerment, the importance of mentoring. And since we are all here at COP28, we are having a very huge privilege of coming here from different areas, from different fields, but we definitely are going to find someone who are amateurs, who are juniors, willing to work in the same area. So it's our duty to push them and offer the space and tell them all about the shortcuts that they can be taken. And it's very essential to address that. I'm coming here as one of the African Youth Climate Hub ambassadors, and it's an initiative of the Foundation Mohammed VI for Environmental Protection, which is shared by Her Royal Highness Princess Lala Hasna. And this space offers a huge empowerment for the African youth, bringing them from the countries from all over Africa, with the sole mission is to build on their capacities and share and exchange exchange their knowledge from grassroots to the global level. So I think those are my main messages for what strategies we can be taking.
Fascinating insights, specifically upon the language barriers, because the main goal of education, the point is to be accessible. In order to make it accessible, we need to, break those language barriers, because not everybody speaks English and not everybody has English as their native language. So moving on to Ahmed. Ahmed, what do you think? How can the empowerment of youth champions contribute to creating sustainable and inclusive solutions that prioritize the well-being of children in the face of climate and health issues?
Okay. Thank you so much for the question. Let me just emphasize 3 points before I go to the question. First, this year, the Global Youth Statement, it has very unique structure, and it was inclusive from every theme. Plus, in this year, we focused about the language barriers, so we break it through the translation between Arabic, French, and also Spanish. So we are trying to be inclusive as much as we can, so we can deliver all our demands with all different languages, because we want the whole world to listen to us. Second thing, that for the first time in Yango, we had a child rights working group, it wasn't existing before. And in this way, because we called ourselves that the Children and Youth Constituency, so we cannot call ourselves that we having children, but actually the children is not there in Yango. So this is why we include them in our process with the safe environment, and also engaging their actually parents or anyone from their adults to just observing. Also, we had extensive collaboration with the UNICEF for the drafting of the guidelines and how we can involving them and how we can create safely environment for them only. And let me go about the solutions and how we can be inclusive. Actually, in this point, it's really important point, because the youth, they having a lot of ideas, a lot of the solutions, but they don't see the government is opening their doors. They don't see that the government is listening to them. So we need to start from the civil society NGOs, from the youth-led NGOs. We need to have a national youth council in each country, that in this national youth council is representing all the national demands, beside the LCOIs. LCOI is one of the projects of the Yango, but we need something inside the government which is always be there. National Youth Council, youth, and even youth advisory group for the government. So because we can represent ideas and solutions to them, we need them to be open their doors into the civil society and to engage also the UN agencies. They can collaborate with us. We need them to include the women. We need them to include the indigenous people in the country. We need them to include the youth. We need them also to include the children, because sometimes the government says why we should include the children. Why, they are estimating, unfortunately, the children's rights to be engaged in the process. No, the children, they are the future generation of the country. They are the next generation of the youth. So we need to hear them. Also, not only for the national process, we need the government to help the children and youth to emphasizing their voices through the regional and also through the international. We need negotiators who is having a closed room, also to fighting for our demands, not taking a decision without us, because we are the present and we are the future. Thank you. Over to you.
Thank you so much, Ahmed, for those amazing insights. Absolutely, the youth and the children needs to be represented in the national government structures, and there must be a quota for youth in every department and institution in the government, so that their voices are also heard and their concerns are addressed. And I would also like to ask you that what role do you think educational programs play in empowering these youth champions in the context of climate and health?
Me?
Yeah.
Okay. Can you repeat the question again, please?
What role do you think educational programs play in empowering youth champions? So any specific educational programs, what would you suggest?
So, as I said in the beginning, that we need to have an interactive curriculum. We need to be in the schools. We need to be in the universities beside whatever the major is, medical, engineering, even the business. All of us, we are affected by the climate change, so all of us, we need to be educated. And this is why I need an interactive sessions for the children. Plus, we need to provide free courses, and we can collaborate with the Coursera, we can collaborate with the UNFCCC, Learn. We can collaborate with the United Nations subsystem college, and they are actually providing free courses about actually the about the climate change, which is amazing. I see it. Thank you.
I think I would love just to follow up on what Ahmed have mentioned regarding free education. It's very essential, but it was very saddening sometimes. UN has some courses that are paid, and they can be very important courses for us as youth, but we are students from the global south, can be affording $2,000+ courses. So it's very essential that the UN also takes in consideration that its duty to offer capacity building for the children and the youth, whatever their financial backgrounds are, whenever they are coming from.
Yes, absolutely right. So thank you for wonderful insights, my amazing panel. So now I'm turning towards the audience. It's your time for questions and reflections. So do we have any questions from the audience? Yes, please. Please introduce yourself. You don't have the mic. Can I have your mic?
Thank you very much. Good afternoon or good evening. And really, I commend you for an excellent panel. My name is Doris Mpumu, and I work with Plan in the AU Liaison Office based in Addis Ababa. Very interesting panel. First, I was in Sharm last year, and we were talking, Yongo was only talking about youth. So a year later, you're talking about children. So congratulations on that for being inclusive. The only recommendation that I would have is to also have the children voices going forward, but this is really a fantastic development to be inclusive of youth, of children. Unfortunately, the message was not heard in some places. We would have wanted to see children and youth pavilion, but it's of course a work in progress. I would like to hear your insights about, you were talking about education to climate change, and it should be mainstream and maybe become a requirement. we know that the youth represent the majority of the population in the world. So we are really concerned about consumption. And unfortunately, the issue of consumption is not really at the forefront of this COP. And youth can actually play a role in sustainable consumption. So I really would like to hear your insight on that, and also how do we make sure that this issue is given equal attention going forward. So thank you again.
Thank you very much, Doris. I can take that. Regarding the children's involvement, indeed, we are doing our best. We're trying to improve. And I think we have made, indeed, some progress this year, first of all, through the Children's Working Group, then through the children thematic section within the GYS. And we are trying to get better and better every year to make the Global Youth Statement as inclusive as possible and as strong as possible. You were mentioning that the message hasn't been heard maybe in some places, and I agree. And because of that, we are exploring ways of building partnerships with organizations like yours and others in order to make sure that the message that the children and youth are sending is heard and acted upon, because from listening to acting, it's a big jump, and in order to make that jump, concerted efforts need to be put into motion. Basically, pressure needs to be put on different pressure points. On the participation of children here, at COP, I must say that at least from my personal experience, it has been strong. This year, we have had in the Conference of Youth before COP, actually a mock COP that was facilitated by Save the Children, UNICEF, and Yango, in which we've had only child attendees. And of course, within the Children and Youth Pavilion in Building 90, second floor, it's a bit tucked away, but make sure to check it. We have a lot of activities on this. Lastly, on consumption, the Global Youth Statement is a declaration for climate justice. It is a call for immediate, effective, and radical action. We are championing sustainable ways of living through our own behavior, but also through our demands. So indeed, we are through the demands of the Global Youth Statement asking for a sustainable society. We are demanding to move away from extractivist models and into more sustainable models. And I want to give some time to the other panelists to also reply.
Okay, let me tell you something that about when you told me about the sustainable consumption. Let me tell you that there will be a constituency for it. I am the global focal point of the sustainable consumption and also protection from the UN major group Children and Youth. I will be the one who is responsible about having the youth engagement in the UN system in this particular SDGs, cross-cutting with all the other SDGs, especially with the SDG 12 and SDG 13, that actually from the youth side we had Yango. Yango is the SDG 13. I am the SDG 12. This is number one. You're going to be asking me how the youth engagement that you will shape it. First of all, I am mandated in 5 UN meetings, which is the ECOSOC Partnership Forum, the ECOSOC Youth Forum, the High-Level Political Forum, and the UNGA ending by the Summit of the Future. All that, it's going to be cross-cutting with the SDG 12. So there will be a youth delegated from my constituency into these meetings with the permanent missions and with the UN agencies up there, because we want them to emphasizing the youth voices there. Also, there is with the UNEP Secretariat, it's called a One Planet Network, and there is a One Planet Network. It's mainly focused about the SDG 12, and I will be working with them to engaging the youth in the board meetings, because all these meetings, it's closed meetings. It's not open for everyone. It's not. So we need to have a youth representative in these meetings. I don't want to be I don't want to be closed process. No, I want to be open to everyone and to having the youth. So let me assure you that the SDG 12 and the consumption will be addressed very well into the upcoming days. Thank you.
All right, I guess we have another question.
Yeah, hi. My name is Karina Weinstein, and I work for FXB. I lead the FXB Climate Advocates Program. So I have a few comments. Well, first of all, it's my second day at COP, and in 2 days I've attended, 20 sessions, whatever number. And this panel and another Youngo-led panel that featured young people's experiences on peace and security and climate, the top two panels I've heard, because you hear the ministers, and you hear the researchers and academics talk data and rhetoric, but young people living it, and you guys are so prepared and so poised and are already leading. It's not like you're just sitting there. And so I just was like, wow, these are the best two panels, and we need more youth panels on all these topics and less kind of jargon, rhetoric, and big promises. Second of all, about climate education. So I run a climate education program. It's informal learning. It's a virtual program that combines climate education and action. And the reason there's demand for a program like that is because there's such a gap in formal climate education. And to give US as an example, we only one state, New Jersey, has a mandatory climate education. But even the issue, even when it's compulsory, which is not very common, it's usually very one-dimensional. So in the US, it's environmental science is really the way students formally learn, like in high school, about climate change, which is so inadequate and does not do justice and does not prepare young people. So when they join our program and any other kind of youth program, you guys know it's like, well, it's more than environmental science, right? It's human rights, it's child rights, it's everything. So my question for you is about experiential education. What do you think is the role of partnerships to facilitate experiential education as a way to enhance kind of even the best of classroom learning that there could be on climate change? Thank you.
Who would like to take that question? Yeah, sure, go ahead.
Well, first of all, thank you so much for the message. It has been very heartwarming. As for the question, first, I think that climate education, there is no fair, even for those of us that had the privilege to hear about it at school and not just do their own research or via their families, it's like you learn, climate change, it's like weather that changes all across these centuries and blah, 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 and not very important things. Whereas, for example, when I have did a little bit of autonomous learning, internet and whatever, but once you come here at COPS, for example, you understand that your learning was too minimal, and there are many things happening. I mean, you start hearing now about SEPSTA, Paris Agreement, and Kyoto Protocol, and you don't know how your message can be integrated to those already existing legal frameworks and how you can leverage. And also, if either you focus on this policy aspect, you don't know how you can bridge it with the grassroots work and how you can teach your other fellows and you can pass on the knowledge. And definitely experiential learning and peer-to-peer learning is very essential. Sadly, there is lack of financing, lack of first expertise and how to bring those very innovative approaches for education. And I would love to congratulate you for the work that you're doing. And definitely, I can say that we are going to be very ready to see and explore what areas of partnerships we can be doing, because the public benefit of this is very essential and we can't just ignore it or pass by. So thank you so much for the question.
If I can come very shortly on this, Yango, the Children and Youth Constituency is a constituency, not an organization. So all that we do is unpaid, voluntary, and we are doing capacity building sessions as much as we can. We are trying to train all the working group members on the respective topics, but we need to partner indeed with other institutions and organizations in order, first of all, to have the capabilities, the material capabilities to provide more training, and also in order to benefit from technical expertise. So on that, partnerships are key. Sometimes we do deliver our capacity building session from with working group members who are immensely skilled and resourceful, but many times we are counting on organizations and institutions to participate in our sessions in order for them to basically share their knowledge and expertise. But in order for this to be something sustainable, to be something long-term, to be more than a singular event, to be a program with a curricula, with something that really builds shared understanding within the constituency, indeed we need support. And I think we're doing our best, but maybe a step forward would be to explore those partnerships, to step out and be a bit more strategic when it comes to training both the younger members and children and youth at large.
Okay, so I guess the time is up, and I would like to thank the panelists for their valuable insights, and especially the audience for their meaningful engagement. And so, yeah, goodbye.
Thank you so much. Yeah, do you have